Welcome to This Explainer. So think about the last time you took a walk through a forest. You probably looked around and saw, a collection of individual solitary trees, right? I mean, we've been taught for generations that a forest is essentially this battleground of isolated competitors. But today, we're going to completely uncover the hidden social network of mother trees. We are going to completely rethink how life actually survives on this planet.
Okay, let's dive into this. The traditional surface-level view is basically that Darwinian myth we've all been taught. This brutal, silent race where every single tree is just fighting ruthlessly against its neighbor for a patch of sunlight or a drop of water. Survival of the fittest in its absolute most basic form. But beneath the soil, the reality is entirely different. The forest is actually an ultra-connected social network of shared resources. So what looks like a battlefield above ground is, in reality, a highly sophisticated, cooperative society right below our feet.
Part 1, the underground internet, the infrastructure of the forest. Because, let's be honest, to run a complex social network, you absolutely have to have the infrastructure in place to carry all that data and those resources.
Enter the Wood Wide Web, or as it's scientifically known, mycorrhizal shared networks. Groundbreaking ecologists, like the amazing Dr. Suzanne Simard, really championed the discovery of this exact infrastructure. And we are talking about billions of microscopic, glowing fungal threads just weaving their way through the soil. These threads actively plug directly into the root tips of almost every single tree in a given forest. They act exactly like natural fiber optic cables, comprehensively linking all these trees together. But the absolute genius of this network? It's not just that they connect trees of the same family. No, it's that they allow trees to trade vital resources across completely different species.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that cross-species economy works. Just take a look at the seasonal relationship between the paper birch and the Douglas fir. During the summer months, the leafy birch is just bathed in beautiful sunlight, right? So it produces a surplus of carbon, which it generously pumps through the web to feed the shaded Douglas fir. But then winter rolls around. The birch loses its leaves and desperately needs nutrients to survive the harsh cold. Well, the evergreen fir actually returns the favor, pumping vital liquid sugar right back across the network to keep the birch from starving. It is this perfect, cooperative feedback loop, and it's been documented in real forest ecosystems.
Moving on to Part 2, kin recognition and mother trees, the heart of the network. If that fungal network is the internet, then these ancient mother trees, they're the central servers, the beating heart of the entire system. Now, I know the idea of trees recognizing their family sounds a bit like a fairy tale, but peer-reviewed studies demonstrate that Douglas firs can actually recognize neighboring kin seedlings and selectively transfer more carbon directly to them. This is backed by rigorous, hard ecological data. Trees can actively identify their own genetic offspring out of all the countless plants connected to the network. They know exactly who their children are. It's wild. Let's actually walk through the exact biological sequence of this targeted maternal care, because it's fascinating. First, the mother tree detects the chemical signature of her kin roots plugged into that underground web. Once she knows her babies are out there, her behavior completely changes. Second, she actively downregulates her own root growth. She literally stops her own expansion in that direction just to give her children the physical space they need to grow. And finally, she widens the pipeline, channeling massive amounts of carbon, water, and vital defense signals straight to her offspring. Remember, these tiny saplings are often growing in the deep, dark shadow of their mother, so they cannot photosynthesize enough to survive on their own. She is literally bottle-feeding them through the soil. Which brings us to Part 3, the final legacy, the last will and testament. You see, the social intelligence of the forest reaches its absolute peak when a mother tree is injured, diseased, or dying. Nature simply doesn't allow a single drop of value to go to waste. So, the crucial point is this. When a mother tree knows she is dying, she essentially acts out a last will and testament. She empties her internal cellular vaults straight into the root network. She gives away her entire lifetime accumulation of carbon, her nitrogen reserves, and her phosphorus stores, distributing all of her vast wealth to her children and her neighbors. But get this, it isn't just about food. She also pumps out chemical memories of past droughts and crucial pest infection data. She is literally uploading her survival data so the younger generation can arm their defenses and survive the climate challenges of the future. The tree dies, but its wisdom remains locked securely within the network. And this matters immensely, because it proves that the natural world is not just some simple story of independent, isolated survival. It's an intricate collective matrix. Life in the forest endures not by being the absolute strongest individual, but by taking care of its own. It's just a profound lesson in community, resilience, and shared wealth.
But this incredible, cooperative community we see in the daylight? That is only half the story of our natural world. While trees spend their long lives sharing wealth in the safety of a vibrant community, what happens when the rest of the world is asleep? I mean, what happens when the sun drops and the safety of that visible network fades into total darkness?
Out there are plants that live completely isolated lives in the shadows. They engineer these complex, mysterious relationships with bats, moths, and even the cycle of the moon itself, just to survive. If a single forest floor holds an intelligence this vast, well, what other silent conversations are happening right beneath our feet? Tomorrow we are going to enter the Midnight Garden to meet the true rulers of the dark. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.